I mean, Secret's just beating everyone right now. I feel like a lot of you probably aren't surprised to see a video today about Secret. No, this is not Secret against VP Prodigy. I'll be making a Secret versus VP Prodigy video on the website, but in today's video, I'm going to be talking about everything that Secret does that is just on another level. You know, the little things that I see within their gameplay that I think other players can implement, even other pro teams. You know, I really do believe that sometimes other pro teams just play a lot more passive against Secret or are less likely, less interested in making plays. But nonetheless, smash the like button if you're excited for this video. I would appreciate it a ton if you could help your boys out as we watch the App Store hit a nice little fisher. And let's get into the video. And also, later today, I'll be recording another one of these type of videos, but for the website. So if you haven't signed up already and you enjoy this video you're about to watch, or you know, you just want more exclusive content every single day, sign up to the website down below. A lot of great stuff there. All right, let's get into the video. So the first little tip I have is something very, very bizarre that I just quickly noticed about Yapzor's gameplay. And that is when he puts down this sentry ward, in order to check the hill, what he does is he actually just walks up to it. I'm not kidding. Apparently, if you walk this close, you can potentially see the ward. You see how his body slightly gives some vision. Apparently, it's not enough, though, to see all sides of the hill. And so he walks all the way around to the left side, scouts that part out with the vision, and does the same thing here. And so yeah, keep that in mind, guys. If you're ever playing your pubs, that's one way to scout out wards, especially if you don't have, you know, vision or obs or a spell that does so. The next thing that Secret does, honestly, better than anyone else, is being able to shift their lanes. I mean, the most impressive thing to me, really, about this last minute is the fact that their drow is not necessarily super active, but just super willing to move around the map. So in this clip here, we're going to see Zai diving the Sven. They end up picking up the kill. You know, the Oracle tried to save the Sven, but in my opinion, he actually messed up and didn't purge the Sven, which ends up getting Nico Baby somewhat killed. He ends up going down, and what we instantly see is a drow rotation. Now, drow shifts over, that's just to help out with the fight in case of a bunch of TPs, and then instantly, they've no problem completely switching up their lanes. On top of that, Secret didn't even really defend the mid-tier one too much. They did a little bit this game, but I want to go back and talk about it. So upcoming here, I do want to look at Secret's approach to this mid-tier 1 tower. And to be clear, guys, they didn't just give it up. It's very obvious that they don't just want to throw with their mid-tier 1. But honestly, when I'm looking at this clip, I'm going to assume they're going to TP 5 heroes mid. I think this is kind of the common assumption for everyone right now, including pro teams, where if your mid-tier 1 is getting sieged, or you're going to siege the mid-tier 1, you basically bring everyone, right? You kind of bring everyone. So in this case, Alliance, their mid laner is here, their 4 is here, their off lane, and their 5 is here. The only hero that isn't here is the Sven. You know, it's Sven. How much do you expect from him? It's also Sven with a horrible game. I mean, he's been getting clapped, absolutely destroyed in this game. He just has no CS, even though his net worth is actually not terrible. It's just a tough game. So all in all, what I would really expect here from Secret is that they bring the Bat Rider, right? They maybe bring the Monkey King, and they kind of just look to defend it, right? But they sort of don't, which is really fascinating to me. They just don't put that much of a priority. Now, a Fisher comes out. Unfortunately, the Drow does end up going down. It was a really nice set of spells by the enemy team. Even the Monkey King does shift over now. But what's interesting is two major parts here that I love about Secret's gameplay, specifically Puppy's gameplay. And I'm sorry if this can be a bit, you know, drawn on for you guys, but I hope this makes sense. They have no problem leaving heroes in the side lane and just happing XP. So Puppy is top right now. And guys, I want to ask you a question. In your pubs, if you saw your position 5 farming top instead of TPing mid to defend a tier 1, would you flame it? And be honest with yourself, would you flame them? Would you flame your position 5 for not defending? I would guarantee that 90% of players would flame their position 5. No doubt. Even their off lane, they would flame, right? So, let alone a position 5. And this just proves to me that Secret puts a larger emphasis on XP than a mid-tier 1, which I think most players would never even consider. And it's honestly a theory I've been having that the mid-tier 1 is slightly less important than people have been saying. It's something that I've been bouncing around in my head, and we'll just have to see about that in the future. And the coolest part to all of this, to me, is the fact that because Zai didn't TP mid lane like most offlaners would have, he's able to pressure out the Sven, and honestly, this is just so valuable, right? The Sven, who would love to farm this double wave under tower, almost a triple wave, just gets nothing, right? And this is obviously just ridiculously bad for the Sven. Unfortunately, FNG once again messed up, but If Zai TB'd mid, he can't make that play. Of course he can't make that play, right? There's no chance he can't make that play. He also can't make this play, which is coming up in a second, where they dive the Sven once again. These plays wouldn't even be possible, just based off the fact that, you know, they defend the tower. So keep this in mind, guys. If you are playing a hero that requires levels to be impactful, do not defend every single tower. If you can get free farm in a lane, it is okay to let a tower fall. If you can farm 2 lanes while the enemy team, you know, plays in 1 lane to farm a tower, or to take a tower, it is okay to split up the map, and I hope that makes a lot of sense. The next thing I'd like to mention about this game in particular that's fascinating to me is that when I'm watching Secret, I feel like they're very, very willing to throw heroes at side lanes alone in particular. They have no problem splitting up the map, and I think for a lot of teams and even players in pubs, you know, you guys can think about this from your own perspective, whether or not this applies to you. You're just afraid to farm alone. Now in this case, we see FNG farming mid on the Alliance, which in my opinion is good. After all, if they go on him, you know, he could potentially ulti himself, force them to overcommit and get some return kills for his team. But I just wish they would do this more, because what I like about Secret is that they really have, and I mean this, they really have no problem just throwing heroes into side lanes. Like right now, they could dive Yapster top, but I think people are just so afraid of diving, especially against a team like Secret where it's like, oh, they might be baiting him, they could be behind him, and they just don't go on him, right? Like, Yapster, because of this, is getting a literal, like, 14-minute blink, right? Even earlier than that. And it's just insane because it's such an easy gank. But instead, right, what Alliance is going to do is gank bottom. After all, this Batrider, who's just playing in the super aggressive position, is under a ward. Now, why is this so good by Secret? Why is this so good? Number one, their Drow is farming, so she's chilling. That's the most important hero on their team. Overall, like, that's, you know, that's the major core. And then the next thing to note is that Batrider doesn't have any major timing coming up. The blink is very important, but obviously an Earthshaker blink is far more important, right? Batrider without blink can actually do things, especially if he has bots. Shaker cannot. And so what I love here is that Yapster just chills top. And even though they ganked this Batrider, in my opinion, this was the most useless gank of the entire game. I really mean this. And this is where I don't get why teams do this sometimes. I do, but I don't, right? So I'll try to explain this to the best of my ability, but they ganked this Batrider because they want to take over the bottom side of the map. They want to open up their map again. But the problem is, what they get is 4 heroes essentially on Secret farming, because Puppey is going to sap XP here, which is important. Yapster is getting a free farm blink now. The Monkey King can just take some stacks deeper into the jungle, and so on. And so, like, that, it's not even that favorable for them, right? Because they're farming on 3 different heroes still. Batrider's going to respawn, and they're going to have their major timing, right? This is obviously their major timing. You can see now, immediately with this timing, Yapster is going to TP in, right? Now this fight ends up going a bit weird. It doesn't, you know, play too well into Secret's favor, at least right away, but they have a obscenely early blink on Yapster, and this is obviously where the game starts to snowball out of control, because they can run the Batrider in, and obviously what Zai is doing here should be clear to everyone, unless you haven't watched enough GameLeap videos. He is going in to bait them! Why? Because when you have an Earthshaker on your team, he wants to go in second, right? He needs to not be scouted, and he wants to go in second. So that is why he has a smoke, right? Just so he doesn't get spotted. Now in this case he doesn't pop it, but they are trying to bait in Alliance, because Alliance doesn't know about this 14-minute blink dagger. They don't know, right? They don't know, and so Yapster is going to try to abuse this. Now honestly, I don't really fully understand why he doesn't pop the smoke here. I feel like he should have, just to stay out of vision, but they completely overwhelm them, right? Like, completely overwhelm them. Alliance has to take 2 different routes to actually split up, and they get some pickoffs. So my favorite play of the game is coming up right here. And guys, all you position 5 players, if you are going to pick a hero like Venge or Undying, where, you know, it sort of doesn't matter if you get gone on, or Ogre, right, where you sometimes just want to intentionally get gone on, this is a great example of how to do it. Because a lot of supports will die and they'll just say, space. Nah, it probably wasn't space, you're probably feeding. But here is a really good example of how to actually create space. So number 1, Nisha is behind him. So clearly, Secret is looking to set up. On top of that, the Batrider and the Earthshaker are about to smoke. They've clicked the smoke. They're hard pinging, saying, okay, they're going to go on the Venge. And this is how you bait as the 5. You notice how Puppey is not YOLOing into them right now to break the smoke? Why? Why? Because he wants to make them run into this area. Where's the better Echo Slam when you funnel people? Here or here? Clearly here. Now in this case, the fight ends up breaking out here anyway, but they want the fight to go into them as far as possible. Puppey wants to draw them in as far as humanly possible. And when you're playing a 5 and you were going into quote unquote, you know, bait or intentionally feed, do not run into them, right? Try to make them run into you. It is still really important to do, and because of that, Alliance has to slightly overextend. They realize, oh, this isn't too good, and a huge Echo Slam comes out. A really nice Echo Slam onto a few heroes. A God tier Fisher to follow it up as well, and obviously this fight is completely over. There's nothing they can do. Super early blink from Shaker, even an early blink from Batrider to large extents, and a lot of this is just mechanical skill. Even Matama Man is absolutely huge, going a blink dagger as well. The tempo on Secret is absurd right now. They have 3 blink daggers, which is kind of weird. And then, of course, the best part of all of this, and something I've been stressing to every single person I've ever coached, and in a lot of videos I simply make, if you have a Roshan team, look for pickoffs around Rosh. It is a simple concept, but it is brutally important. Roshan is the most important objective in all of Dota, besides the throne. And at this point in the game, it's basically over. Secret is 10k ahead with an Aegis. There's just nothing they can do, really. Alliance, no matter what they do, it's kind of futile. But I would like to make a couple more major points. I love this item build from Puppey. Usually, I'm not a huge fan of something like early mech. After all, it's 225 mana and he has 500 max. But Vanish doesn't cast that many spells. Your mana pool is not, you're not required to have some insane mana pool in the mid game. In the early game, you do need a lot of mangoes and clarities, but at this point, he's chilling. Also, this is another thing I want to mention briefly. I love Drow with Venge. I think this combo is insane. Besides the fact that you give Drow a bunch of agility, which she shares with everyone else because of marksmanship, you give her bonus attack range, but most importantly, you can frontline, which means you can cancel blink, you can attract attention to yourselves, and most importantly, you can swap Drow out if needed. Now in this fight here, they kind of mess up, obviously, not gonna lie. They do mess up a little bit. They end up getting stunned into a 2-man set of spells, but he instantly pops his mech, right? So he has a ton of armor, way more farm than your average position 5, even though he's not that farmed. This is their position 5, this is Puppey. Double! Obviously, he's going to be able to have a lot more impact just because of this. He's also level 11, FNG's level 9. And it's not like Puppey is popping off. He's 1 in 5. So do not, don't be mistaken where it's like, it's just because his team is crushing. Nah, no, he's 1 in 5. He just hits a lot more lane creeps, which is quite funny. But yeah, in this fight here, he gets gone on. Obviously, this just does not matter. Because of that, the Oracle has to overextend. I mean, he's just literally God Strength punching a Venge Illusion, and that's about all, folks. And yeah, this is why, honestly, I think Secret is just such a good team. I know this is very niche stuff that I think a lot of people are going to be like, this is kind of hard for me to apply my games. This isn't a quick fix, right? I'm sorry, guys. Not all my videos can be top 10 broken heroes you need to play for instant MMR. Even though I'll have more of those coming soon, I do hope this sheds some very interesting light on, how pros look at the game. And I'm doing my best to just really provide every insight I see. I don't hold anything back. There's no secrets that I'm not telling you guys. I'm giving you every little piece of information that I've seen and developed over my course of playing Dota and watching professional Dota. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe. And now let's watch the last fight of the game. And, to end off the game, we're going to see some Monkey King bugs. So if there's a tree flying across the screen, it's just because replays are incredibly bugged and Valve has yet to fix it, even though it's been the game for 6 months, maybe more. But in this fight, I mean, sometimes you like to look at macro strategy, and you just always want to equate Dota to strategy. People want to say, oh, if I figure out the strategy and I understand everything about Dota, I'll surely go open MMR. Yeah, but also no, because you have to have insane reaction time, absurd game sense, and that's exactly what happens here. His tree gets cut down, but a Force Staff comes out, and so does a Lotus Orb, and because of that, the Sven gets stunned, Monkey King doesn't, and the fight is completely over. As well, of course, 3-man Echo Slam on top. One day, guys. One day we'll all be as good as YapzOr. I mean, this fight is just so perfect. The best Lotus you've ever seen. A Fisher to keep him inside of the Monkey King ulti, which obviously makes a ton of sense. A max range Echo Slam as well. Hitting the Wind Ranger, which makes a lot of sense on top of that. And yeah, they're just obviously easily going to clean up the fight from there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I wish you the best in becoming like YapzOr. I'll probably make a video on the website soon talking about YapzOr, because in my opinion, he's so reliable. 5-0-18 with 50 CS in a 27-minute game. You always constantly as well see him rushing items like Lotus Orb, and he just has so much impact with this item all the dang time. And so yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace. Before you leave, just want to say a quick message. If you're trying to get better at Dota or you just enjoyed that video, I know this is pretty general, and you're going to hear this quite a bit from me. but I recommend you sign up to GameLeap.com. Why? Because I put a lot of effort into the content over there, and generally the effort I do there is different from the content you're going to see here on YouTube. It is different. In fact, I usually go a lot more in depth on topics or into niche topics that help you get to the next level even faster. Because on YouTube, I often have to keep it more mainstream, and that's even why I'm putting it at the end of this YouTube video. That's why this is at the end, because a lot of people just watch 5 minutes, they skip through just for like the dopamine spike. But if you are interested in actually getting better at Dota, I recommend you go to the description down below, get your discount right now by clicking the link, sign up, use the discount code that you're going to see there, and I hope to see you there right now. So click it, and yeah, thanks for watching.